Hello and welcome to Impact the Borough, a podcast from the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce. I'm Brent Christensen, President and CEO of the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce. Each week, a Chamber staff member will sit down with a guest to discuss what we're doing to start and grow businesses, create quality jobs, develop our workforce, and tell the inspiring story of Greensboro to the world. This podcast is brought to you by Truliant Federal Credit Union, a modern, mission-driven financial institution focused on the needs of its members, the businesses it serves, and our community. With 5 locations in Guilford County, including a dedicated commercial lending office at Friendly Center and a highly rated mobile banking app, Truliant makes it their business to help you grow yours. Visit Truliant.org for more information.
Hi, it's Brent, and welcome to our podcast. Today I'm going to be joined by Jim Matheson. Jim Matheson is the CEO of Prepac Manufacturing, a furniture manufacturing company that just chose Guilford County as their latest location. They're expanding into the United States, into the eastern United States. They're a Canadian company, and we're excited to have them here. They're going to be locating in what is now a spec building in the Whitsett area of town in Rock Creek Center. It'll soon be finished out, and as you'll hear from the podcast, they've got some very aggressive plans to get up and running as quickly as possible, which we think is fantastic. It was an incredible project that started almost a year ago under the code name Project Maple, and we were able to go from last August to this August and thankfully win the project. 201 jobs will come with the project. $27 million investment will come with the project. A great win for our community in crazy times. A great win in any times, but certainly a great win in crazy times. So we'll welcome Jim to the podcast right now. Well, first of all, Jim, let me say welcome to Guilford County. Congratulations on an incredible decision to locate here. We're excited about you joining this community. Prepac is going to make a wonderful corporate citizen. And I just wanted to get into, give us kind of the drivers that led to you making the decision to locate in Guilford County and in North Carolina.
Sure. There's actually quite a group of us involved in the decision process. We knew that we wanted to open a new factory on the East Coast to serve our Eastern consumers. And so the search started out really in 3 different counties within 2 different regions, and also included southern tip of Ontario as well. So basically, there's a lot of different criteria that manufacturers take a look at when selecting a new facility, including things like the building availability, the operating costs, skilled workforce, taxes, freight. And when I say freight, that's a double-ended or double-pronged inbound and outbound. So we have a lot of inbound freight from raw materials. In our industry, it's particle board and MDF, so that's a big consideration. Obviously, the source of it, and then outbound freight. We took a look at probably about 500,000 different deliveries to consumers over the past year and a half, and on the East Coast, and getting time in transit reduced down to 1 to 3 days was a huge driver for the decision. And basically, the other piece of that also is encompassed in that is the cost to the end consumer from our factory. We ship everything direct to the consumer on behalf of our retail partners. And so, while a lot of people think freight is free, it certainly isn't. It's a major cost consideration when you're shipping inexpensive, stylish RTA furniture, which is heavy, and certainly a key component of that. When we looked at all of the different counties and options available to us, there was a lot of categories that were very close. But I think in the end, it came down to the level of assistance that was available, incentives, and things like that tipped the scales in favor of North Carolina.
Great. And so skilled workforce, talk a little bit about that building as well. Is that, being able to get in the building, a shell complete, and now you've just got to do some interior finishes. Was that a huge advantage for our community as well?
Yeah, I think, it was a spec building, 260,000 square feet that we certainly have a lot of work left to complete, but it had all of the basic necessities that we needed. And that was certainly one of the key decisions, again, was building availability. And on that, there's still a lot of work to be done between now and when we open, which is targeting around February 2021 here. So we've got about 6 months of tenant improvements and obviously a lot of equipment to bring into that building to get it up and running.
So you had mentioned as well in a previous conversation that you're very familiar with this area because of previous experience with the High Point furniture market. Can you talk a little bit about that and that particular event's importance in the furniture world?
Yeah, so Prepac, we've been around this is our 41st year in business, so we've been around a long time. And we started marketing our products down in High Point many years ago. And so we got to know the area and I guess in 1 week increments at the time, and got familiar with it. And somehow we just knew we'd be back there. This facility, again, is right in the heart of the furniture manufacturing, heart of the U.S. And we knew that there was going to be a lot of other businesses that could support us. The infrastructure was there, but definitely, having a showroom in High Point in the past, and now being able to actually operate a business there for another 51 weeks of the year is certainly going to be a treat for us.
That's great. That's great. So tell us about you mentioned your customer base. I'm not sure that Prepac is the brand name sometimes that everybody's looking for, but we can find you on these other brand names. Talk about your retail outlets and how people get a hold of Prepac furniture. They may have it already and not know it, perhaps.
Yeah, I think that's the case. We operate under a bunch of different brands under the Prepac name. But many years ago, we've been what's called drop shipping direct to consumers for 20 plus years. In the early days, we got into catalog sales. Obviously, some of those customers morphed into e-commerce. But about 13 years ago, we pushed all our chips in the middle and we went solely into e-commerce. And so any bricks and mortar business, we closed down at that time just so that we could not be everything to everybody, but basically have that niche and certainly go after that market. So anybody who is in North America that's a large retailer that sells home furnishings, you can probably find our products on there, possibly under different brand names.
Gotcha. And can find them online, or is this a Wayfair, Home Depot? Where are some of those online outlets that you might turn people to?
Check.
People in this area love to support the home team.
Yeah.
And so how do we support the home team when we're looking for furniture these days?
Yeah. So the first two you mentioned, obviously Wayfair, Home Depot, even the Walmarts and Amazons, Target and Kohl's, all those major name brands. And as a matter of fact, just to go back in history a little bit, we've been a partner with Wayfair since they were known as racksandstands.com. So we sold them audio racks and TV stands. And a lot of people in our company, even to this day, that are new, and they look in the ERP system and they say, "Who's Racks and Stands?" And we go, "Oh, that's Wayfair." So yeah, a lot of the big brand names, and they've been great partners with us over many, many years.
So Jim, talk about yourself, your journey in this industry. Can you give us some background on who is Jim and how did you find your way into this business? I know you've got some other businesses in your background as well, correct?
Yeah, I'm a displaced engineer, is what I typically tell people. I have a background in electronics engineering and software development. I've also had a background in e-commerce through regional consumer electronics and music retailers. But I think it's a combination of business development and e-commerce that really attracted me to Prepac. I've been with the company for over 13 years now. And, I was taking a look at back in the day, you could buy books, you could buy music online, but to sell furniture was certainly going to be an interesting prospect. So it looked like a great opportunity at the time. And became a partner in the business, and certainly we've seen some great growth over the last decade. In particular, we've had 10 incremental expansions in the past 10 years, and this is by far our most ambitious.
So we were talking ahead of this recording about hockey. Of course, we've got a hockey club here in North Carolina, and we'll look forward to taking you to a game or two when you get a chance. Where are your hockey loyalties?
Well, currently Vancouver. I had to become a fan. Originally, to believe it or not, I was a Montreal Canadiens fan. When I was younger, I lived in Calgary, Alberta, and we didn't have a team there. So at the time, I had to pick a team, and that was the Habs. But I have a family of loyal Canucks fans, so it's certainly I'm a Canucks fan now. Got
it. You mentioned earlier your schedule. You want to get open in February of next year. That's aggressive and doable because we're good at doing things quickly here in Guilford County. But talk to us about what that looks like between now and then, and perhaps even talk a little bit about hiring, because people are going to want to know, when does the hiring process start in that time frame?
Right. So yeah, the target date. Obviously, there may be some slight fluctuation to that, but we're still targeting February 1st. Some people look at us and say, "Hey, you're opening a new factory in the middle of a pandemic," but this is we're looking at this as a long-term, critical piece of our growth going forward. So we're continuing to plow ahead. A lot of the things that, in order to get the building open, obviously there's a lot of tenant improvements, and we have a lot of very high-tech equipment that needs to be installed. When people think of furniture manufacturing, I don't think they think in the terms of saws that are 30 feet by 30 feet, or drills or routers, or all these things that are very sophisticated CNC pieces of equipment, and the connectivity of everything. So there's a lot of work to be done on the engineering side as well as the tenant improvements. But we certainly, on the hiring side, have already started that process. We've engaged several different companies and also groups within the local, the county and state government to help us with that process, as well as we'll be getting involved with the Guilford Technical Community College system to help us some training programs there as well. But yeah, we'll start with the key roles. For example, plant engineer, director of operations, HR, and things like that to start, and then certainly start bringing staff on board as we get closer to that date for operators. Obviously, a lot of training and things that have to happen on that front.
That's great. Well, we're obviously happy to help. What kinds of things are you looking to the community to help you with? What can we do for you? You're gonna walk into a very welcoming community, and you're gonna get a lot of folks asking, "Hey, what can we do to help you?" What kinds of things would you tell folks like that?
Well, it's funny. Since the announcement last Friday, we've had hundreds and hundreds of requests for people reaching out that they can help us with everything from signage to hiring people to resumes. I think we've already got a couple hundred resumes on file since Friday. So I think it's we've got, first of all, the group that we've been involved with. Again, both yourselves at the Chamber of Commerce, the Department of Commerce, Economic Partnership in North Carolina. There's been some really great help along the way, pointing us in the right direction for resources. I don't think people understand the value of that for companies like Prepac that are coming into a new area. But certainly the contacts that we've received to date, just for the basic necessities of getting an operation up and running, have been great. But yeah, I think we've got a great plan in place. I think we've got some really good resources now that we've been helped out with. But certainly, we're going to need the local community, a lot of suppliers and services, and that's what we're working on now, is to make sure that from a raw materials point of view and services for the facility, that those are going to be taken care of next.
Great. So You mentioned opening a facility in the pandemic. I've been to some of our, local distribution centers at UPS, FedEx. There's a lot of furniture running through them right now. How has business been during the pandemic for Prepac?
Yeah, it's like everybody. It's been challenging. We would have suppliers, raw material suppliers, shutting down, and have second and third sources for different things. But I think it's fair to say anybody in our industry has been very busy, and it's been tough to keep up with the demand. Opening this factory is certainly going to help that. It's going to take a couple of years for it to come fully online and operational 24/7. But we're looking forward to it. We could certainly use the additional capacity.
Great. Well, we welcome you with open arms, as you've noticed and said. We'll flood you with offers of help. Sometimes you just have to say, "Okay, I got it," but we're going to help you every step of the way and get you up and running as quickly as possible. So
yeah, and that's certainly been our experience. I've taken a few people down to North Carolina to visit facilities, and it's they all come back and they say, "Wow, what a great place!" They've been very impressed, not only with the level of support that's been provided to date, but just the community in general. So we look forward to calling North Carolina our home of our U.S. operations.
Well, of course, we started this project about a year ago under the code name Project Maple. Maybe that's a reference to the maple leaves. I don't know.
Maple syrup, maple leaves, something maple.
Maple wood that you can make furniture out of, all that sort of things. We have these wonderful code names that try to hide your identity until the time comes to tell everybody it's Prepac. But we started pre-COVID, and then we finished up in COVID. And so the good news is, I think you got a good sense for the community before we had to close everything up and start doing everything virtual.
Yeah, my last trip down to North Carolina was in late February, and we were pretty busy that whole week, and I wasn't watching the news much. But on the last day that we were there, actually the last evening, we had met for dinner, and someone said to me, "I guess we should elbow bump," and I had never heard that term before. So yeah, lots changed in the last 5 months.
Well, we all persevered through it. We continue to persevere through it. Again, thank you for choosing Guilford County. We really appreciate you being here, and thanks for taking the time today to talk with us.
My pleasure. Look forward to seeing you in person.
I can't wait. We all can't wait for that time. We'd love to be doing a luncheon. As I told you, the State of Our Community luncheon is typically our largest event, 1,000 people. It would have been great to have you up there on that stage and shaking all those hands and getting a lot of pats on the back, congratulations and thank yous. But we can't do that this year. But we'll hold out for next year. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
All right, Jim. Again, thanks for being with us.
All right, Brent. Really appreciate it.
This podcast is brought to you by Truliant Federal Credit Union, a modern, mission-driven financial institution focused on the needs of its members, the businesses it serves, and our community. With 5 locations in Guilford County, including a dedicated commercial lending office at Friendly Center and a highly rated mobile banking app, Truliant makes it their business to help you grow yours. Visit Truliant.org for more information. You can find all of our episodes on YouTube thanks to our video sponsor, North State. Impact the Borough is recorded at Press Play Studios. Producers are Brody Cohen Glaze and Holly West. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at GSO Chamber. See you next time.